One. Hello, everybody. Yes, Dave has not recovered. He has not quite recovered from last week's show. If you haven't seen it, okay,
It's
here
in
we
the
go.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Yes, it is in the archives, Dave. Yes, it is. All you got to do is type in Dave Dino, and it'll everything will come up that we've been doing. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Horror Show. I am Dino, as always. That is Dave Plouffe. Like I said, we had a Halloween show last week, and man, we tasted some stuff. That's all I'll say.
Not sure what I tasted.
Yeah, well, I know what I tasted. I tasted some dirt and boogers. But anyway, it was awful. But it was a fun show. A really, really fun show. But yes, we are going to talk about ghost stories. Art Bell, Ghost to Ghost 2000. Hard to find on YouTube, really, right? I mean, it was hard to find that one.
It's tough. It's a little bit different, Ghost to Ghost, because it was not on Halloween.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that it was probably one of his retirements, and someone else was doing Ghost to Ghost that year, and he did one in February and April. So we're actually going to cover the February show tonight, and then sometime next year we'll do the April show. So there will be a part 2 to the year 2000.
Yeah, it still has the same feel as he used to do during Halloween, but he didn't do them on Halloween night because he kept retiring this and that and a lot of stuff. Anybody who knows Art Bell knows what we're talking about, and we'll talk real quick synopsis in a minute. But let me say hi to everybody. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. Mr. Ed, Harry Scott, Hi Boy Donuts to you, Donald Duck Apple Juice to us. All of us beautiful people, huh? Connie Cleary, what's going on? Edward Stewart, John Swan, Adam for Christ. Raj Ram, what's going on? Good to see you, Raj. Nathan, Andrea, bum bum bum. Who else is here? Phil Jones is here. Yes, we are going to talk ghosts. I can't wait. There's some good stories in this tonight. DIY Craft Q. Great to see you guys. This I look forward to, right up there with Richard Dolan and a few other podcasts you guys do. Top 5. Well, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. It's always fun going back and revisiting. I mean, every time I listen to these shows, I get so nostalgic, Dave. I mean, it's not even funny. I was telling you that prior I was listening to this, and I used to always listen to it going to sleep. So I was listening to it right before we, went live, and I felt like I was falling asleep, Dave.
We need to do some jumping jacks.
Do I need to do jumping jacks and push-ups? DIY Craft Q, thank you for the $4 super sticker. A cup of coffee. Yeah, that sounds good. You know what I did? You know what's even more healthier than coffee? Try 100% cacao.
Okay.
Powder. It's just like cocoa, but it's a less processed form, and it's got a lot of listen to me go on. It's got a lot of healthy benefits to it. But you take a tablespoon, you use your milk or almond milk, whatever you want to do, heat it up, you mix it together, and you put a tablespoon of maple syrup in with it and stir it together. Dave, man, I was in such glorious heaven. I can't even tell you. It tasted so good, chocolatey, and it can replace coffee if you've got a problem with coffee. Which
Fortunately, I don't have a problem with coffee.
Oh, okay, good.
I love it, but the only milk that I'm using after last week is milk of magnesia.
I mean, it was a great taste test. I don't know what more to say.
As Connie said, it was an epic show.
Thank you, Connie. Yes, it was. And thank you again, DIY Craft Q. Dave, go ahead. Thoughts on Art Bell and a little synopsis for those that don't know. I know most of the people know Art Bell, but yeah, go ahead and talk about it a little bit there. Lipton noodle soup, Harry Scott says. Hey, okay.
That sounds really good. That is actually for me a late night summertime treat.
Really?
Where it's just like midnight, 1 a.m. If I'm working on projects or whatever, I'll do a cup of noodles.
Easy to digest, and it doesn't weigh heavy on your stomach late at night. So yes,
it's very nice.
Healthy talk and living with Dino and Dave. So
we have yet to do a show on cooking.
I know we do, yeah. But we got to get the camera in front of the stove, or at least the counter, and we can do the stuff in the background, like Martha Stewart used to do, just walk around back and forth, and we can come back and we go, oops, the olives dropped. I don't know what to say, but let's go, Dave.
All right. Before we start losing people,
I'm going to go ahead
and tell you about Art Bell.
Yeah, please. So, who is this guy?
17 episodes ago, we decided to do an Art Bell tribute show because he was so influential, a radio host, coast to coast, throughout the United States and even down into the Philippines. And he would come on every night live from about maybe 10 p.m. to anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5 a.m. He would just go hour after hour after hour. And this is back in the day when we didn't have a lot of, commercials or anything like that. So maybe top of the hour, bottom of the hour. And he would do paranormal topics, UFOs, ghosts, pyramids. He would talk about his travels. Bigfoot was another great topic that he did. He did EVPs. And he had one of these voices where you could just listen to him all the time. If he read the phone book, people would tune in because it was just gravelly. And he was kind of like an everyman type of person where you have, him going out on a break to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
He lived in Nevada, kind of near Area 51. And he many times would have open lines, but particularly around Halloween, he would have these ghost to ghost where he would kind of set the mood, everyone turn out the lights, light a candle, and listen to ghost stories. And the only thing was there was no cussing, one per customer. And I think that was about it. So.
Yes. And you know what? I was going through my little hard drive of old videos and pictures that I save on there, like of family pictures and things like that. And I saved all of the Art Bell started, he had the cam before it was even a thing, and it would take a picture a minute, slow picture a minute. But he also started once Twitter had Periscope.
Uh-huh.
Remember his first time on Periscope and going live? He had a camera behind him that shot down. I recorded all of those.
Oh, wow.
And I have all of the Periscope videos, and I don't know that anybody else has them out there. I haven't seen them. I tried looking up, but I have them. I'm going to try to show it maybe on the next show. I didn't even think of tonight, but I'm going to break them out, and I'm going to play those videos of the ones just of Art, like turning back to the camera and he's smoking a cigarette and he just keeps looking back there because it's such a big deal that it's live video and it's not just taking a picture a minute. So I think that'll be kind of cool to see him kind of behind the scenes and doing stuff, like that. But I can't believe I saved it, Dave. And I got
awesome.
it on my head.
I'm glad you did.
Oh,
I just have some cassettes over here, probably a dozen or so cassettes. Live from the radio, because I was so worried about him going off air again, because that's unfortunately what would happen is he would, once you hit the late 90s, he would start retiring, and there were a lot of issues, with his family and things like that. But
I think the reason we got, and hey, Overkill with an O and WWM, good to see everybody. I think there's another thing that he started his show off it wasn't a Canada radio station, the CBC radio network.
Yes.
So a lot of the older shows you can find on YouTube and all of that, I think because of that reason. I mean, heck, you can find them on podcasts on, through iTunes and stuff like that. But then once you start getting into when they took over the broadcast or whatever, I don't know, there's something with the rights, but a lot of people are able to upload these things. So,
right. Which
we
is
still
great.
got
I would hate for him to be lost. There was, I remember a TV show. I'm going to switch to gardening for a moment.
Yes,
But
gardening with Dave for
on
sure.
Saturdays, there used
Yeah.
to be a Victory Garden television show
Oh, I loved Victory
out
Garden.
of
Is there
Boston,
cabbage freezing? Mhm.
and they can't play them because they don't own the rights to them anymore.
Oh no.
And it's just like you imagine all these great TV shows that it gets so caught up into who owns what, and
I know, and they're stubborn, and you don't ever get to see them.
right.
Yeah.
And if
So
it doesn't make
Dave's Sunday mornings are spoiled now. No Victory Garden.
They are. They are. And what pisses me off, side note, I had a whole bunch on VHS that my sister then taped over for her horse racing craze. And I'm
No.
like,
Horse racing taped over the Victory Garden. Oh,
yes,
that's terrible.
yes, because she was a big.
So when you watch them now, do you see as the horses are running, they're like eating the vegetables?
That would be fantastic if that had happened.
That's weird that happens like that.
Uh,
Hey, Lizzie. Oh, did I say your name? But hello, and
no, but
Bogart.
he's been here for a while.
Yeah, I don't
She
think.
actually thanked us for introducing her to Art Bell earlier.
Oh, well, yes, you are welcome. Introducing you to Art Bell. Yeah, uh, it's we gotta keep it. And you know what? It's a shame because and we're gonna get to the ghost stories in about 1 minute. Um, they're it's a shame because we're missing that. I'm missing that. I'm missing that person at night that he's in his house. And listen, I could be that person. I don't know. Listen, I'm getting a lot of stuff together in the paranormal, and talking to people, and arrangements are being made so that I can start doing paranormal into the night on a regular basis, because that's what I've always loved, and I'm slowly trying to shift over there. I've told you guys that before, but months later, here we are. I'm still trying to get it together. But anyways, we're missing that, Dave. Somebody that we could go to, and that's what we loved about Art. He was just a guy in his shack with the equipment in front of him, and just, he could walk out on his porch, he can go to his kitchen,
And he was someone who loved doing what he did.
Yes.
He loved talking the paranormal. He loved doing broadcasting.
Yeah.
High speed indigo.
Yeah, sweet. And that is what I love too. And that's, I veered off of this, and I do have to get back to that because it is a passion and something I'm going after. So it will eventually become a thing, it really will. But anyways, let's get to the ghost to ghost. Some good stories to talk about tonight, Dave. I really do think so. Not a ton, but there's some select few that are really, really good, I think, and interesting.
Yeah, and I think it also opens the door up for some bigger discussions like reincarnation.
Yes, no, I would definitely. There's a couple stories that will bring that up. Yes, Rob Bob. Hey, Rob Bob, what's going on? iHeartRadio. There you go. Anywhere podcasts are found, Dave. Okay, so I will let you. I guess I'll let you start off. You're going to take the best one to
Not
start
many
off.
other people here in the show that can start off.
What? Oh, no.
I'll go ahead and start.
Okay, yeah, no. Well, Dave can't. I can mute him so that I can go ahead. No, go ahead, Dave. Don't turn the lights. Oh, wait, what's going on? Are you being interrogated?
Third degree.
Third degree. Okay, go ahead. You take the first one.
All right. Well, what was great about Art Bell is you could interact with him on several levels. And one of the levels was that you could fax him, because he had a fax still,
Yeah, I knew you were going to take
your story, and he would possibly read it on the air.
Yeah.
So the very first couple of ones he actually reads. And one of them I'm going to talk about is from Montreal, Canada. And this guy says his brother-in-law was 43 when he died from liver cancer. And he had, battled it for 9 years and ended up dying of a heart attack. All his body just basically shut down at the end. And during the day of the funeral, the church, I guess it was in the summertime, the church had the casket up front and all these windows were open. And then, all of a sudden, boom, 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 these windows close sequentially, not all at once, like there's a breeze and they drop, but
Yeah.
it's just one after the other, like someone's walking by and closing them. And what was really cool too is that there were candles, I guess, right at the casket, and they kind of blew one way and then stood back up as far as the flame goes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I thought that was kind of a cool, easy way into the Ghost to Ghost this week.
Well, and they were at the basically the funeral or the wake or whatever at the church. And what I thought was interesting about that was, after that happened, the priest went over to the casket and kind of said kind of a little prayer, or kind of said some words that she said she couldn't understand. And afterwards, she said she went up and asked him, what happened?
Yeah, what was that?
And he said, what happened was there was a manifestation, and he just let it at that, and he wouldn't say anything more. So, I mean, listen, the Bible and everything talks about this kind of stuff too, but the fact that the church will admit, hey, it's a manifestation, but he didn't continue on with the what it exactly was. Even priests have their different beliefs within their religion. But I thought that was very interesting, that letter that came in, that for sure. Yeah, I had a page totally turned over, Dave. I was going to start with something else, and I look over and I go, oh, I got another whole page. I was getting ready to talk about something else. I guess the next one, I guess this is worthy of talking about. There was a man that called in from California, and he was a police officer, a military guy.
It,
He
it
go
was
ahead.
G.I. Joe who
It
called
was
it.
it was G.I. Joe. He technically was on some kind of mission here in Korea,
Yeah.
that we're gonna go on with the story about, that he talks about. But he does go on, just for Art Bell likes to clarify, like, who a person is, what, because anybody can tell a ghost story, anybody can tell an experience, but when you hear it from like an elderly teacher, or somebody reputable, somebody like most police officers or military people, they're very strict in their regimen and stuff, and you don't think they would lie, and so the history behind the person and what's going on is just as important as the story is. So he's telling us all of this, and the guy eventually retired to Mojave, I think, or something like that. Were you gonna say something, Dave?
No, I except that I
Like when
would
you
never retire to Mojave.
No, I was gonna say that's,
Now,
yeah, if you want to be
especially when you've
indoors.
traveled the world and done all those really great jobs, Mojave is not the place for you.
Right, right. Well, anyways, this guy was at during one of his military stints. He was in Korea, and he was in a I forget how he described it, the building itself. It was just like, it looked like a little motel type thing.
Yeah, in fact, he called it a Motel 6, and
Yeah,
said it wasn't any different than a dorm room where you had two people kind of shacked up together in
yeah.
opposite, in two in a room that had opposite furniture.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's him and his buddy, and his buddy is like, he makes it sound like it's one of those guys, he's kind of always cracking jokes, he's snoring, he's doing his stuff. But nevertheless, he was sleeping one night, and I guess it starts over it goes over 3 nights. And the first night, he's hearing something, and something woke him out of his sleep at exactly 1 a.m.
Yes.
Not sure why 1 a.m., but it could be when this. Oh God! See, this is where we would get into like reincarnation or residual. Is this a
Right.
haunting?
And this was also a location in Korea where there was a lot of war, uh,
Yes.
a lot of people died, a lot of atrocities took place here. And so I think there is a lot of energy in those locations.
Oh, 100%. You go on Gettysburg, you just sit in the grass field and with your recorders out there, there is a good chance. I know a lot of people don't believe in EVPs and stuff like that, but uh, if you sit in there in the field, just give it a shot one night if you're capable, and just let the recorders go. You know what I mean? And what you will hear, there was an Art Bell show, Ghost to Ghost, where somebody talked about going to Gettysburg, and they were close to a pit area, and the EVPs that they got on that episode were scary, and just it told a story, and it's one of the ones that just stand out to me. So I hope we get to it. I think it's a later one, but we will get to it. But this one, first night he wakes up 1 a.m. He's woken up out of his sleep, and hears something, and he's got that uneasy feeling, and goes back to bed. Nothing really big happened. But same thing happened the second night, where 1 a.m. he's woken out of a deep sleep. And then finally the third night, he's woken out of a sleep, and it's 1 a.m. third night in a row, and his buddy's over there sleeping, and over by the door, the wall by the door there, there's a figure that kind of manifests itself. And what he says, it's like, a 5'6", 5'8", kind of Korean man.
Mhm.
And he says it looks like he's, kind of like a farmer's kind of outfit or whatever. Not kind of a military or nothing like that, but just like an ordinary like farmer's outfit. I don't know, peasant. I don't know how, that goes over there. Probably would be wearing rags or something like that. I don't know. But he sees him, and it's just standing there. And slowly it turns towards him as he's in bed. Slowly turns inch by inch, step by step. Okay, don't make me go into the whole routine. But it slowly turns and looks at him, and it starts to slowly walk to him. And he's saying it's got this like is this the one where he says is it black, or is it like layers of gray? He kind of says.
I think this one's layers of gray.
Yeah, many shades of gray to him, but
Yeah,
he's
not quite 50, but maybe 25.
yeah, not 50 Shades of Gray. But hey, horror junkie for life, what's going on? So I don't quite know what, except for you look at a ghost, you kind of see through it a little bit, but it's gray, but yet solid. So he says kind of shades of gray, probably moving about, but he still thinks it's a real man coming to after him, and it's walking slowly to his bed where he's laying, and he does go. I think he gets a knife, or does he get his?
It's a Bowie knife that is underneath his bed.
Yes,
So he
that's
does that's a little sneak,
yes.
grabs his knife, and it's just kind of like, he's ready to come up and just, boom, and kill him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he says that he's there uh for some kind of mission, whatever, to uncover some stuff, and he thinks that this is somebody coming to get him and kill him in the
Yeah,
night.
it seemed like maybe he was disoriented, he was lost, he'd looked normal, but then he remembered that, hey, I'm here on a specific mission, because there's like millions of dollars of stuff being taken out of this, basically military base.
Yeah, yeah. People are taking a lot of stuff out of there. And hey, poetic justice. Yeah.
And so
Okay.
maybe that this guy was sent to silence him.
Yes, yes. But what happens is this figure slowly comes to his bed. He grabs the knife, and he leans back. He doesn't want to do anything yet. But this figure of a man kind of leans forward towards him, and the man takes and swipes right through the neck, and of course it just goes right through. And when he does that, the figure of the Korean man kind of reaches down to his blanket. And see, this is where it seems like it's intelligent. It knows what it's doing. Kind of. I mean, it could be a residual. It could be going through emotion, but it seems to have come right to the bed, right to this guy, lean down, and kind of touch his blanket area. And when the guy does swipe at him, he basically turns around and then starts to walk away again and disappears. He says he goes up about 3 feet high and
Yeah.
then disappears into thin air. So, I thought that was a really interesting story. Again, it makes sense. I mean, a lot of things like that happen on like you said, places where a lot of deaths occur and stuff like that. I think we all know that by now.
Sure.
Um,
I also think it's really how different things are in foreign countries, because we in America deal with ghosts and hauntings in a particular way, but in an area that's so much older, that has much more violence,
yeah,
that has much more, not, I don't want to know if it's structure or not, but it's more like soothsayers, more tribal connections, things like
yeah.
that. All of a sudden, there's more and more stories and things like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. As for, I don't think the story clarifies enough that, like, if it's a residual type thing that's going on there, it t- I think that the time thing, 1 a.m. every night, it kind of lends credence to that, it being a residual, more than an intelligent. I think,
Yeah, we
could
are
be his. Go ahead.
we are lucky it is, that has already taken place, because tonight it would have been he would have shown up at midnight.
Yes, yes. If you haven't fallen back an hour last night, please do so. But I think everybody's got things that it just automatically does it now, unless you were Art Bell, who had 100 clocks that he needed to change every year. Kind of suck, wouldn't it, Dave?
You would. That's why he got married so many times.
That one, two. How many times was it? 3 times,
At
wasn't it?
least
Is
3.
that a lot, Dave?
I wouldn't know.
Raj, I'm sorry, dude. Listen, the Clue Club is coming. It didn't come before Halloween. I just don't know what to tell you. Just too busy. The overnight streams and the old time radio keeps me so busy. I never know what I'm doing from one day to the next. So there you go. And eventually things have changed. But anyways, that's story I think is a really good one. Nowhere near the best of the night, but I'll let Dave pick another one. What's the
All
next
right.
one?
Well, the very next one I thought was Bunkus, so I'm going to skip it.
Which one was that? Dean?
I already turned the paper.
Okay.
It was Dean from Texas.
Well, you know what? Let me just tell the story real quick though, too, because
Sure.
I think this is Bunkers. Yeah, whatever. Dean from Texas. So I could tell this in like 20 seconds. Started at 4 years old. Listen, even stories like this is it's fun to talk about. Not fun, but interesting to talk about because kids at 4 years old, okay, we know that they say things because they are just a little bit more connected to that other side or whatever you want to call it. But this guy, he just goes, man, I was 4 years old. He walked outside, the door opened, and he saw a big bright light. And then he turned just a little bit and he saw the sun. And I'm like going, what?
I love it.
First of all,
I love it when he's going like this. He goes, "Oh,
ooh, oh, you know what I mean? I mean, listen, I'm sure it was the sun that he's seen, even though he's saying, no, I saw something bright like the sun turned maybe like 2 inches and I saw the sun. So it wasn't, but he was 4 years old. I mean, a story like that, you just can't take. And then when he says he was 5 years old, this is a little bit more interesting though. But I get you. We can laugh about it. He's 5 years old he goes out to recess. He's on the swing or something like that. I don't know. There's 500 kids out there, and they all start to vanish. They're all gone. And all of a sudden, the sky up in the clouds, it's like a TV kind of like projected image on the cloud. And he sees like a 1920s like alleyway. And then he starts going into, and this is what really blew it for me. Yeah, I'm an old soul, and I love, those old things and stuff like that, and it's just very interesting history and stuff like that. So, immediately I'm going, first of all, you're just a little kid. But I thought that idea of a kid, everything vanishes, he sees this projection on a cloud, was kind of cool. It's just a good story, but we can move on because it is Bupkis. So on to the next one, Dave.
All right. One of my favorite callers for the
Why
night
did Dino talk about that story? Okay, go ahead.
was Marianne from Syracuse, New York.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Marianne got in 4 really good stories.
Yes.
It was a whole segment. And hello, William Cromer.
Yeah. Yeah. He let him go on. I mean, her go on. So go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, she lives in her family home, and the family has
Parents and go ahead.
Yeah, they've owned it for 50 years, which is really awesome. Unfortunately, the parents did pass away in the house in
This
the
is a
fall
good one.
of 1989.
Yeah.
And Marianne was taking a nap. She owned the house then, and she had been watching TV, kind of like Dino, listening to Art Bell, and just kind of falling asleep a little bit. And she wakes up, and there's someone in the kitchen, and he's on the phone. It's not like he's making a sandwich. He's on the phone, and he's talking to someone.
I like that she was in the parlor.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, the parlor, not the living room.
Mm-mm.
She's wrapped in her little blanket in the parlor. And she lives alone.
Probably on the day
So
bed.
yeah. So continue. Yeah, guy's on the phone. I guess he looks solid. She thinks it's a real guy that just came in and is using her phone. So yeah.
Finishes the conversation, walks into the parlor, smiles at her, like, "Hey, what's up?"
Yep.
Turns, walks through a wall, and disappears. Now she gets up.
Well, he smiles at her too, so that it's kind of like he smiled at her, the intelligent. I mean,
Like he recognized her.
Yeah. But she didn't recognize him.
Right. And this is something I think that is, I think when you're looking at a person who's lived in a home for any length of time, that their energy, that their spirit is still manifesting in the home.
Oh, yeah.
And that this was just an earlier owner, and maybe he was just, I'm really pleased that you're still here, that you're still going to live here after your parents died.
Yep.
So he walks through a wall, disappears, and she gets up and goes to check the receiver on the phone, and it's warm.
Yeah, she goes, "It's still warm." What the heck? That would kind of freak me out. Yeah.
I thought that was just really a good touch to that story.
Oh, it was. Oh, well. And it goes on. Yeah.
And her second comment was that someone would get into bed with her, cause an indention in the mattresses. And her quote was, "They would get in and get cozy."
They would. Well, that sounds like, well, I mean, that could be intelligent or residual, whatever. But yeah, whatever it is coming in to lay next to her when she's going to bed. I'm going to come lay down too. So yeah.
But do you remember her comment that she would tell the ghost?
Stay on your side of the bed.
You stay on your side, I'll stay on my side.
Yeah. Don't get too close. Yeah. Keep your hands to yourself. Yeah. No, that was pretty cool. But I think the next thing is the coolest part of the whole story.
Uh-huh.
Because she's having heart issues and heart trouble. And I'll let you say it because this is your story here.
Well, that's okay. There's multiple things, but she had gone for some tests, and she was waiting for the results. And
waiting for the phone call. Yeah.
And so phone call finally arrives, and the doctor says that, I talked to the older gentleman who lives with you, and
Yeah.
he was very concerned about you and everything, and just kind of went on. And this lady is all, I live alone.
Well, and she went on, and he said his name was Frederick, and she goes, "That's my father. My father's been dead for a while now." So it was just like so matter of fact, you know what I mean? She tells him, whereas I would be freaking out. This dude talked to my father, Frederick. What the heck? He's on the, you know. But anyways, yeah, yeah. That I thought that was a really, really interesting thing. And it makes you question, like, how is that even possible? To get up enough energy to pick the phone off the lever, put it up to a ghost to put it up to its, unless somehow it was talking with the lever down, but you know what I'm saying? That whole scene
Yes, but
is
it's
interesting.
with the phone, it's electronic, and I think with us being energy, we can feed into that. We wouldn't even need to pick up the phone. We could just intercept the transmission,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, could. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's the interesting part of it. Like, how did that process work? You know what I mean? She doesn't know. She can't relay the rest of the story, but definitely interesting, for sure. But
And
yeah,
it also makes you wonder how long you do stay around after you pass. I mean, this was he had died in 1979. The story takes place in 1989.
yeah.
So it's a full decade that he's hanging out, making sure that either his kid is safe or the house that they own together is safe.
Well, I think energy and spirits can stay around as long as they feel they need to stay around. Art Bell talks a lot about in a lot of these types of shows that he did about spirits. You know, it's a shame that, you know, and it is a shame when you start to hear like the EVPs that Barbara Macbeth and the GIS would do of the little kids, and that's where you do question, like, are the kids too young to know what to do next to find their way to the next level, whether it be a different plane of existence, whether it be you know, off to the light or whatever, you know. But the the other spirits, I think, most that are intelligent, like parents sticking around and whatnot, have the ability to leave anytime they want. It's just their want to stick around to see their family, you know, grow older. I think, was it this woman that questioned, or somebody else questioned a little bit later on? They were able to I think it was later on. They were able to talk to their mother, and she asked her, you know, would you like? I mean, would you come back to live if you could? And she said, "No, no way, no, I would not." You know what I mean?
That was a great story. I also love because they asked her if she had seen Jesus and God, and she said yes.
And again, that's another thing on faith, and you know, what are you calling God? What are you calling Jesus? You know, are these two people who came to you in physical form as a person? But she, yes, she says that, and you do gotta, you do got to weave through the stories of when it comes to people of faith, or people who believe in, you know, spirituality, or people who believe in science but also believe in the fact that, you know, we are energy, we do have souls, and you know, you can have that belief and still you know, be what do you call it, agnostic, or you know, definitely not atheists, don't believe in anything, but you know, so there is all of that weaving you got to kind of do around all of that, because
There is.
um
Uh, Larry Bonds has joined the chat. So hello, Larry.
hello, Larry, good to see you. It's been a little while, but good to have you here.
And
uh
one thing too, also along that same line, is reincarnation.
yeah.
At what point do we just like put our hand up and go, okay, I'm ready to go to reincarnation, or maybe I don't want to be reincarnated? Do we have that choice? You know,
All of that makes total sense and is plausible in my mind. I there's just way too many stories of people who can remember their past lives, especially if you're a young child. There's story after story after story. Read some books, do some research on some stories with valid facts that are older, not new stuff, but older that you can dig up, of kids that remember World War II, or walk in the streets in France, or somewhere in New York. You know, they remember this address and a father or something like that, and then you can validate it. You know what I mean? So the reincarnation thing, I do believe it is there. How it works, you know, is a different story, because time doesn't have a beginning and end, really, when you start talking about dimensions and you get into it scientifically. So could I decide, listen, I want to live in the 1920s when I pass on? There's things there that I want to live through and experience. Could I go there when in my next life, Dave? You know what I mean? These are questions that we don't know,
Well,
but
maybe we made the choice to be here right now as
right.
well, wanting to
Oh,
see, hey, I want to see the computer age. I want to
yeah.
see the age of the internet and virtual reality and all of that.
Yeah.
Or maybe we just wanted to see the new Halloween film. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know about that, Dave, but maybe for some, but yes, I want to. Anyways, get me off on a tangent there. But yeah, no, it's very, very complicated, and definitely interesting to talk about, because it's so complex. We don't really know. We can kind of throw theories out there, and there are some theories that work when it comes to all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, that getting back to the stories, let's get back to some more ghost
Yeah, and
stories.
I'm sorry, that was still Mary Ann who did. That was her mother who said that, because they were looking for the home insurance, knowing that
Okay.
home insurance had to be paid. And it's like, where was this? And they ended up, here's the paperwork. So
Yeah.
that's how we got to there.
WWM. Okay, that's a good one, buddy. I don't believe in reincarnation, but in my other lives, I always did. That's a good one. One of the better ones in a long time. Anyways, J.O.B. is here. What's going on? Okay, so yes, that was her. So man, here's another. I think you're getting the great one, and then it goes to a bad one. Because the next one, I mean, I could skip it, but I think the next three really aren't all
Oh,
that.
no. I love the next one.
You like the next one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So there's a guy, I forget what his name was, because some of
Corey.
these, what was it?
Corey.
Corey. Okay, because some of them cut off at the beginning, and you just pop in to the story being told. I don't know if that was cut off through YouTube, because this is where we watched it, or listened to it at. But anyways, Corey, from Tennessee. Okay. I think it was a younger man. Did they say the age? Was he a teenager, or was he of age?
It sounded like they were teenagers because they carried a BB gun.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So him and his friend, Corey and his friend, I put to the side Civil War boots, for just so I can remember and jog my memory. But they went up to this area in the woods, this road where they took their BB guns, and they were just going to goof off like teens would do. And they heard a lot of stories about, that this land had a lot of Civil War action that happened here. That's the history. That's what people talked about. It was an old logging road, is what it was. And the story goes, they Corey, I guess, then they both do. They look off over to whichever side. They didn't even say what side, but they look off and they see a pair of boots. A pair of boots, no body, pair of boots walking. Okay, so the Invisible Man has a pair of boots on.
I was thinking Scooby Doo.
Zoinks, Scoob! But it's just the boots walking, and they were meant for walking, Dave.
They were.
Well, it depends who wears them. But so that I take that back. Anyways, they're walking and they start to come, and then he goes into a description, because you ever see those Civil War museums and stuff in the boots? Listen, they're just an pair of dusty boots. So, but he knew they were Civil War boots. I don't know how, but he did. Anyways, it starts to walk towards them, Dave, on this road.
And I love Art's comment at this time. Whoa, slow down.
Yeah, well, slow down. What's going on here? A pair of boots? Well, and that's where he got into the description. Yeah, I saw, you look in a museum, these cases, this old dusty pair of boots. But it could have been, it's an old logging road. It could have been a ghostly logger, right?
Could be.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Got sawed up by accident.
Something, yeah. Anyways, well, or uprooted. He could have been uprooted from his boots on the logging road where they would take trees and uproot them. Anyways, I had to explain the joke because it was a stupid, dumb joke. Yeah. Anyways, the boots walk up to these guys, and Corey said he reached down to touch them.
You have one of two options.
Yes, you can stay there and put your hands through the boots and see what's going. What is this? Or you can run like hell, like Art Bell would do. He says it all the time. I would run like hell is what I would do, and most people would, I guess. What the heck are boots doing walking? I mean, I would check for strings. You know what I mean? If there were trees above me or something, I don't know.
Like the little lollipop kids.
Yeah. Oh, lollipop kid, lollipop kid, lollipop kid. Okay, but yeah, he goes through them and then they vanish. So another kind of not so good one, but that was my story. I was stuck with Dave going.
Yeah, they ended up running at the end.
Yeah, they did say, yeah, they vanished. So we took off. We ran like a bat out of hell back home. So yeah, then and never to go there again. He said, why would he? What size were the boots? Asking for a friend. Yeah, well, you know what? You can go up there today if it's still there. Well, see, they couldn't pick it up though, because I was going to say you could get a good.
Why would you want them? They're old. They're dusty. They're from the Civil War.
Yeah, well, you could get a pretty penny from a Civil War boot. Dave's falling asleep too. Hey, Tom O. Hey, oh.
It's that Art Bell. I was just thinking about Tom O saying today is Godzilla's 70th birthday. That would be important if we were doing a Godzilla stream. But also we have to think about lizard years. So really, it's 1 year, human year for every 10 lizard years. So it's really only his 10th birthday or 7th birthday.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Tom O.
Yeah, Godzilla is still very, very young. I mean, technically, but yeah, here I think it's time for us to check the thumbs up.
Overkill, just
The ghost wearing the boots, wondering why these guys are trying to take off his boots.
Well, I'm thinking even the ghost is like, "Hey, can you help me with these? Can't seem to get them off."
Yeah, they're stuck. I was just in the mud. Cue the song "Blue Oyster Cult." Yes, Larry Bonds, Art Bell. There were a couple songs that slipped in on the stream that I listened to, and yeah, the songs will always, like Crystal Gale and all those songs will remind me of
what I found out.
What's that?
If you go to artbell.com,
yes,
it is now a memorial site, and on the left-hand side there is a link for bumper music, and you click on that link, and it has about 50 bumper music songs that he normally used. And you can click on the pictures and it'll take you to the video on YouTube of the song.
Wow. Okay. I haven't checked out the artbell.com site in a long time because there just was nothing there. So that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I got to listen to some Gordon Lightfoot, some ABBA, some Toto.
Yeah.
Again, just, you could definitely tell that this was Art Bell's playlist.
Oh yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. This is okay. No, Indian woman, witchy woman. Is that what you're talking? Anyways, okay, yeah, go ahead, Dave. You pick the next one, which I don't know which one you're going to pick. There was a stupid story with the guy driving his girlfriend down the road, and
don't call it stupid.
If you're going to talk about it, talk about it. It was short.
That was my type of story.
Okay, we'll go. I didn't mean stupid. Sorry, Dave.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So this is going to be this guy named George. He's from Oakland. traveling back in time to 1975, his girlfriend and him were driving up to Idaho and passing through Yellowstone National Park in a yellow VW Bug,
Yes.
which
Okay. Now, you're making it sound better already.
I felt so bad for them in the first place because of that. And so they're driving, it's cold at night, and off to the side of the road, they see this person walking ahead of them, and she's walking with the flow of traffic, so we don't see the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
But her hair is not wet, and I guess it's snowing out, and she's dressed in clothes that are from the early 1900s, and they're going to slow down to see if she needs some help or, because this is like midnight. And the girlfriend looks over and she goes like, press the gas. That's a ghost. She doesn't even have a face.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just such a great story. They pull up to get through this Yellowstone National Park, and the gate is closed. And the guy's all, you have to go back. He goes, we're not open. You have to go, tomorrow. And they're all like, we're not going back. He goes, well, there's a, motel just a little ways down the road you can stay at. And luckily there was a room. They said they got into the room, put furniture in front of the door and everything. So it was just a really great, quick, fun ghost story.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, it was short and sweet. Let's put it that way. Yeah, Larry Bonds. I know you're an Arpel fan. Talking about Timothy Leary. Yeah, that's going back a ways with Art Bell. There's another good one, Dave, that you probably took more notes with. I'm going to start it off and fill in the gap.
From
What's
Liddy.
that?
From Liddy, we kind of skipped over her.
Is that the one? No, Liddy. Okay, I'm talking about the father, the victim of the homicide. Oh, Liddy is the little girl.
Yes.
Okay, see, that's the one I don't know what was happening at the time, but I didn't get. But yeah, the father. This one's a woman called in. I guess it was Liddy, right?
It was. Yeah.
And when she was a little girl, her father was a victim of a homicide. And it's very interesting. I don't know. You fill in the gaps here. I don't know. It was. I know that she was driving with him, and he was dropping her off at her mother's house, or grandmother's, and she ended up
grandmother's house. She was going to spend the night at grandma's.
Went to the aunt's,
and and when she was walking away from the car, she had this weird feeling, like this is the last time I'm going to see my dad.
But she's a little girl, and she didn't think to I stop him or go back. She just did what a little girl would do.
She knew how to process what her feelings were.
Yeah.
And she ends up not staying at grandma's, but she stays at her aunt's house instead.
Yeah.
Middle of the night, phone rings, guy's voice, your dad's been killed. He's been shot.
Yeah, just a voice calls on the phone. Whether it was, it couldn't have been him. She would have recognized the voice, but she said it was a man's voice, and somebody. I don't think they said that she knew who that voice was, right?
She couldn't recognize it.
Yeah. So she got a heads up from somebody, but they didn't believe her, until
even the
later.
Said, like, the phone didn't ring.
Right.
I would have heard the phone ring. It did not ring.
Yeah.
And the kid freaks out to such a point that, like they call the grandma, they call the mom, and all of this.
Mm-hmm. And one of them could corroborate some kind of phone call, couldn't they? Or wasn't it corroborated or no?
No, I don't have any.
Okay.
Corroboration here.
Okay. Well, the story just basically that this girl gets. I could have sworn something like kind of corroborated it, but if it didn't, it didn't. But getting a phone call, the girl remembering that from childhood, her father passing, I thought that was a very sad and touching kind of story right there. But anyways, go ahead, Dave. Pick another one. Hey, Night Fright, what's going on?
We are
yes,
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and visit with Tony. Back in 1965, they were Beatles fans, and they were playing their record of the Beatles songs really loud on their portable phonograph, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And
Record player. Yeah.
it was just him and his brother, and they heard singing from another room.
Yes. So somebody was in the living room singing loudly while the two kids were in the other room. Yeah, that's it.
I thought that was cool. But then he
Yeah.
went on to tell another story about him hanging out at his friend's house playing
Yeah.
model cars. And
Yeah.
they were running these cars over the flooring, and
Yeah.
one of the cars went underneath the couch.
Zip
And
past them under the Davenport, I mean the couch, with
yes,
the flip, you know how it would cover the
oh yeah,
underneath of the couch,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, standard parlor furniture.
Yeah, yeah, parlor. Mhm.
And he's all, damn. So he picks up um, the little flap thing, sees the car, reaches in, but instead of getting the car, in front of the car, there's someone's foot. And it wasn't just a foot, it was a naked foot, according to him.
Yes, there's the naked foot.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't human. And because he says it's not human, it felt cold and leathery.
Oh, oh, man.
So,
Reminds me of some stories from my childhood, but oh, jeez. No, I mean, stuff my grandparents would see. There's a story a little bit later that I had to bring up my uncle. I'm sure we'll get to it, but let's thumbs up, you guys. Listen, halfway in between, we got 61 thumbs up. If you can give a thumbs up for the stream, please do. The more, the better. Let's try to get to 100 through the stream, like we always try to do. Let's get there. Really appreciate it. Make sure you guys leave a comment afterwards, please. We never get enough comments after the show is over. We'd always love to hear your guys' take on stuff. And it is possible after the stream ends to go back to the video and underneath leave a comment.
I always rewatch us anyway.
Do you?
I do.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like listening.
We're fascinating, actually.
We're quite fascinating and entertaining.
Last week was great because I was going to throw up. I mean, really close.
Last week was really good for sure.
Yeah, but it's always great to revisit the Art Bells, Kolchak's, and in fact, our first Art Bell, I think, is over 6,000 views now. I mean, just to show you how much this person is revered.
Yeah, for sure.
Since we are near the top of the hour, I'm going to go ahead and talk about some upcoming shows we're going to be doing.
Go for it.
Because it is November the 3rd already. Next Sunday, we're going to jump over to Charlie Chan, and we're going to talk about The Jade Mask, one of the best Charlie Chan films. Again, is with Sidney Tollier. And you can,
Toller.
thank you. And then we've got the week after, we're going to immediately go back to a Kolchak. Unfortunately, it's the second to last. It's the penultimate episode called The Youth Killer, which is fine because it stars Kathy Lee Crosby, and she can kill my youth anytime. As Ed Stewart or someone will say, Wonder Woman. Yeah, to me, it's more of that's incredible, but that's a whole nother story. This Sunday after that, the last Sunday of November, we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be talking about the Mod Squad. And neither Dino nor myself have ever seen the Mod Squad. So
never seen it.
This is going to be like the pre-show that kind of inspires Scooby-Doo to a certain extent. And we will be doing some Scooby-Doo episodes next year, beginning in February.
Yes, we will be hitting the Scooby-Doo series, the original, and that's going to be fun. Can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah. And then if we're still doing the show together, December 1st, we do episode 4 of The Prisoner.
What the hell does that mean? No. Dave's taken off. He's
free for all.
Yeah, and then the last episode of Kolchak involves a lizard, a really weird puppet type lizard, like from Land of the Lost type weird looking thing. I can't wait for that one. It might be awful bad, but the pictures got me intrigued. That's for sure. Zoink Scoob! I can't wait to do that.
Yeah. And then
Cap
after we do that, we're going to do a wrap up of Kolchak. In fact, that's going to be our last episode of 2024, where we do top 5, bottom 5.
Yes, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. On to the next ghost story. I think when the man calls in about his daughter, and he basically just goes, she talks to her grandmother. You know,
That
her
was cool.
grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Her grandmother who has passed away, and the girl, his daughter is very young. I don't think he said an exact age, did he?
He did. Excuse me. 9.5 is when she first started seeing her grandmother.
Okay. See, I mean, what would I do without Dave? I mean, I can't get an age right. But one day they're fine with that kind of, you know. But one day, they all come in, and she's upset, and she says, "Grandmother is here." Um, and she's upset because she sees her. She can see her, and she's saying where she's at. She's over there. She says she's behind mom, and they all start, you know, okay, well, what? And her mother starts to get like those, you know, that kind of like tingling sensation on your body.
Yeah, but I also think if someone had told me that too, I would get the shivers myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but the little girl says, you know, it's she's got her hand on your shoulder, you know, and I guess the story goes on that, you know, to this day she still can talk to her. She's still there. The grandmother's still around.
Yeah.
So, you know, kind of what was this the story where the grandmother said you know, everything's going to be all right to her? That
Um,
was another
actually,
story.
I don't remember. I'm going to say that.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to bring that up because it's something that a lot of people who have family members pass on kind of experience. And it's interesting just because that happened to me too. So um, it's nice that somehow the loved one's energy, spirit, whatever, can somehow come to you, reach to you. Me in a dream. Like I never dreamt of my grandmother before that, but when she passed, it was about a week later that I dreamt of her sitting in like she always did and looking straight at me and telling me that everything's going to be fine. I will see you again. And that's it. And I've never dreamed of my grandmother again up to this point in my life.
Hmm.
One time, that's it. But it's a common thing, loved ones reaching out, you know. Of course, when you grow an attachment, you know, and you have that kind of family dynamic where, you know, that stuff like, you know, happens, you know. But I call the wrenches here the mod squad, Mr. Ed. Okay. Um
My
Joey.
mom had something very similar happen to her when
Okay.
my grandfather had passed away and my parents were getting divorced. I guess my mom and my grandfather were very, very close, and she said that she headed out of her bedroom into the living room one morning, or maybe
Mhm.
it was the middle of the night, because she couldn't sleep because of everything that was going on. And she said that the chair, the rocking chair, was rocking in the living room, and that's where my grandfather used to sit. And
Hmm.
she goes, "It was. I knew it was him, you know, coming to tell me everything was going to be okay."
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a past stream. I can't remember which one it was that I did, but it was I did go through like my childhood and all my experiences with the paranormal, and there's a lot of stories on there. And I bring them up from time to time through these streams that we do. I've had that more than once with different people. I hear you, Dino, Mr. Ed. Interesting. Cool. And Dave, I think we're going to have to pick some of the best ones. We've only got 3 minutes left. I can't believe it's
We've
going by so
got
quick.
about 20 minutes left.
What's that? 20 minutes? Yeah. Okay. Well, Pick the
Well,
next best one.
we're gonna talk about clarity.
Okay, go ahead. Pick
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, it's kind of the next one. Okay.
So we're in Texas, and particularly we're traveling to Denton, Texas. If you're ever in the area, look for a graveyard because there will be a person named Clarity there. So this kid is around 18 years old, and he's at a party, and basically, like all of us at 18, he's looking for female companionship. And there's this girl who ends up talking to him, and she's all, "Hey, can you take me to my home, which is roughly 30 minutes away?" And this is in Denton, Texas.
Mhm.
And she's all, make a left, make a right, and they pull up to basically this graveyard. And she's all, I live near here, and let's go into the graveyard. And so he thought that they were gonna, be like doing a little loving in the graveyard. But that was not the case because then all sorts of weird stuff started to happen. We have these like basically doves in a V-shaped
Well,
formation.
when she first pulls up and they finally make it to their destination where, yeah, like you said, he thinks they're gonna make out, there's the stoned pillar entranceway that was the one side was crumbled down, and she said, yeah, I think a year or 2 ago, this is where I had an accident here, and when we crashed into that. So, leading you to know, oh, okay, I see where this is going. But that did happen, and then they make their way in, and yeah, then the Bible prophecies and the doves ensue. But go ahead.
Well, and then she starts talking about Bible prophecy.
Yeah.
He starts looking around because he's all, I'm out of the mood. I want to go home.
Yeah.
I want to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And she's nowhere to be found. So he does what any other 18-year-old guy would do. He leaves her at the graveyard. Not even like, doesn't
Well,
even come
she
back.
ran off. She
Well,
ran off.
allegedly, but I mean, look a little bit longer.
No, well, I know. Listen, but he's like, she knows the area, she knows where she's at. I'm sure she's fine. They're young. I don't know, but
Laugh
I
going,
get you.
oh, she'll be okay. I got to get
Yeah,
out.
yeah, no, I know.
And
But
then
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, then he heads home, and it's 2 years later that he revisits this location.
yeah.
And here I got a little confused because he was talking to a guy at a fill-up station, a gas station, and about like what happened years ago. And he says, "Oh, these people got killed because they took the corner too quick and hit the doors of the cemetery and all of that." But um,
Corroborating the story that she was
yeah,
kind of telling. Yeah,
so we're not quite sure if she's a ghost or anything like that. And later on in the Art Bell Ghost to Ghosts, I do remember this guy because he has a particular voice. And of course, the name of Clarity, he tells another Clarity story of him basically running, this girl running ahead of him. She runs through some brushes, and there's the name Clarity on a headstone. So he tells kind of a different version of it. So I'm not quite sure if I believe this story or not.
okay, huh? I don't think I heard the second story told again.
Well,
Hmm.
we will come across that soon.
Yeah, Edward Stewart, similar. Dino, yep, yep. Lots of experiences, that's for sure. The other one, the one I want to talk about now is the blind girl. And refresh me because mine was cut off. How
Oh,
old was she again?
so this girl was of grade school, junior high age,
Okay.
and she is walking to school with her dog and her friends basically um, bet her that she would not go into the mortuary home, and she does,
Yeah.
and she runs across this.
She
You
hears
know,
organ music.
yeah, and Dino can tell the.
Yeah, she hears the organ music and then she hears a voice. Did you come to see the body? Did you come to see the body? And I guess this person's name is, what is the name again? He's a mortician. He's
Bartholomew Higginbottom.
yes, yes, yes. Love that name. I wanted Dave to say it because he He said that very clearly when we were before the stream started. Anyways, the man did not know anything about phones or phone books because the blind girl was asking him questions, all kinds of questions. Like, can you do this? Can you do that? And he just kept going on, and she kept doing that voice like, no, I do not know what you are talking about. And there is Bo,
This is Bo. She just got up from her nap.
the paranormal cat.
She's
Hop
been
down.
doing a 3-hour nap.
Oh, wow. That's not a nap. That's a good sleep for a cat.
It is. It is.
All ready to go. Going to catch some mice tonight, or maybe some big rats.
Ooh.
Bo gets in some tussles.
She does. She does. She's not
Oh,
a she's not a scaredy cat, that's for sure.
yeah. But yeah, she's asking questions, and again, she's blind, so she's going by the voice, and you can kind of just picture yourself and imagine this girl, and they're talking to this person and hearing the voice, and he keeps talking in this different, weird. At first, I thought it was a joke because of how she kept saying, speaking for him. You know what I mean? I can do that. I am a mortician. And he goes into. Go ahead.
Comes from a long line of morticians.
From I guess this is a family,
and it's a very regal job. That it's dealing with the deceased, the last person to interact with him or her,
and send
and
them on their way. I thought that was really cool
yeah,
how he said that. Yeah.
it was. He did not know the address or the phone number of his location. In fact, he didn't even know what a phone book was. So,
No.
you're talking about someone from the 1800s at this point. And she's all, well, maybe we could go outside and see if there's an address on the outside of the building. Oh, I don't like to go outside.
Can you imagine that? I mean, evidently this is, if true, an intelligent ghost that is standing there talking to this little girl,
And then,
teen girl, whatever.
especially what I loved about this was that when he moved, she felt movement
Yeah,
around her,
yeah, a
like
little bit of
every
air.
physical body.
Yeah, yeah. She could tell there was something there. But then when before the story ends, she says, "Well, can you take me out to at least show me the door so I can see what's going on across the street? Then I'll know where I'm at." And he says, "Yes, I can do that." So she said he does. I felt him come to the side of me, and she takes his arm, and she says as she was uh took his arm, she could feel the material of the jacket, which was like corded, she said, kind of like a marching band jacket or something. She said something like that. But she said, I didn't feel any arm. But she didn't want to say anything to upset him, she said. So,
Well,
I'll,
she also went back, and I don't know if it was a day later, a week later, and
yeah,
asking the people, "Hey, I want to talk. Do you know Bartholomew?" And they're
yeah.
all, "No, we don't know that person or anything that sounded like him." So that was really kind of a fun story.
Yeah, that was, and the way she was talking about it, like very fun kind of conversation with Art Bell about it, was really interesting and made it kind of a cool story. Whether true or not, some definitely hit you hard, and you go, "Wow, yeah, that definitely sounds like that's a keeper. That's one for the books." But go ahead, Dave. I'm sure there's another one. Which one you want to hit?
Why don't you read Rash's post real quick?
Raj says, my uncle could never operate his car alarm well. Every time it went off, it was because he was trying to get out in his car. When he passed away, the alarm went off once for his wake and never again. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, many stories of many different ways that they try to either say goodbye or get your attention, or it's very interesting. Okay, Dave, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to choose one that mentions Ed Dames.
Oh,
There
really?
is a guy who calls up. He's from Nipomo, California, which if you don't
Okay.
know where Nipomo is, it's kind of near the Central Coast, near Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo.
Mhm.
And he says that he was on the Art Bell show several months ago, and he was on with Ed Dames, and that he had information about something that was going on at the time, and he took that information, that those facts or whatever it was, off to the Mojave Desert where his brother lived on this.
This guy put me off a bit, but go ahead. Yeah.
It was weird. Okay,
Yeah. It was
so
weird.
he lived on this property, basically 17 acres,
It's
and
almost like he was trying to promote a book or something, but he wasn't.
true.
Yeah. But anyways, go on.
So
Sorry.
his brother is then killed, and he thinks basically because he had this information, he was killed.
Mhm.
Um, and he goes, "My brother and I, we were very close growing up. There was telekinesis, there was telepathy, and all this." He goes, we did 24 times in a row of guessing cards, number and
Dave, Dave,
yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry I got to interrupt because that is a story that I've told many times when I
Oh,
was young with me and my brother. We used a Ouija board. We set up the closet. I'll rehash this really quick. We set up the Ouija board. You got to turn it off. I don't want to hear it. No. Listen, I was like maybe 15. My brother was 13, something like that. We set the closet up with all the things you would need to just do a Ouija board, and we sat in there in the dark with a candle. I know why. Because I was into all of that stuff, and there was nobody to tell me that this isn't good or nothing. But nevertheless, it started telling us freaky stuff. But to get to the other point, once we were going through that, I kept telling my brother to go out, pick we had a huge set of Transformers cards,
okay.
and they were 1 through 300. I mean, there's a lot of cards. And I would look. We would go and we would pick one out of the deck and throw it. I made sure we have to pick it up and throw it over on the other side of the bed. Then he'd run back and we'd say, "What is the number of the card that we just threw over the side of the bed?" And it got it, Dave, over and over and over again. It never did not guess, to the point that we started freaking out, and we asked one last question. Can you please tell us the driver's license number of our dad downstairs? We wrote it out. It said it. We went down and asked him. It was exactly his driver's license number.
Oh,
And we freaked out. We were freaked out all night long. Me and my brothers, there were 7 of us. We all were talking back and forth about this, and it was just an all night thing, to the point that I think that night it was hard for us to sleep. But you brought it up about the kids doing the 24 cards in a row, and it
yes.
got me thinking of that. So go on, continue. I'm
All right.
sorry.
So now we're out in his compound in Mojave. The brother is dead, and the other brother is kind of cleaning up the area because he's going to rent it out. And of course, like many people do, ask for a sign. Stupid, stupid thing to ask
Yeah,
for. And the glass plate of the oven, I guess,
yeah,
the boiler he's using, stove, it says,
yeah,
exploded.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then he rents out this place, but he's still living there. And I
Yeah,
thought,
well, it gets weird. It gets
yeah,
weird. He rents the place out to tenants, but says, "Can I stay here for a month with you guys?" And they've got a 2-year-old girl too. It just was really weird story, Dave.
this guy gave me creepy vibes just
Yes.
listening to his story. And you knew he wasn't all
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
He could have been easily an Area 51 caller as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he talks about the little girl would look into the other room and say, "Oh, that guy's hungry," or she would say, "Bye bye, bye bye."
Hey, Mary H. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, she says bye bye, and that's kind of the end of it, and that's the story. The guy did give me a very creepy vibe and was very weird. I mean, a little interesting, but Yeah, weird vibe. Which brings me to another weird story that I think we got time to fit in.
Sure.
Guy calls in talking about his computer. And there was something that started happening. A ghost or spirit or of some kind, something started typing out messages to him on a nightly basis. Do I got that right so far, Dave?
Yes.
Okay. Boy, I wonder what kind of computer that was. Old Mac,
Commodore 64.
Commodore, something like that. But he says it's just it seemed like an evil character. He said his name was Vernon. He had a name for it. It told him to look out for a half. Is this the? Do I got the right one? Yeah. He told him to look out for a half moon symbol. Is when something's going to happen. I don't know, but he also read off to Art Bell some weird stuff. I wish I could have written it down. You didn't write it down, right?
I didn't, but it was jumbled words, but it was like real words.
Yeah.
But when you got done with the sentence, it kind of gave you a certain vibe, like
there's decode this
underneath the world looking up, just
Yeah.
weird. Like it didn't. I mean, obviously, I would have marked it down for bad grammar, but it was, by the end of this story, it was, understandable to a certain extent.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, it's a wild story. It's one I don't think I believe, but to have something, can you imagine sitting in front of your computer and you have the old thing where it just automatically starts typing, because the old computers just had the screen, and then we get to hold on, Pink Panther. Hey, been a while. What's that, Dave?
I said, "Hi, Pink Panther."
Yeah. Oh, no copyright strike. Hi, everyone. Pink hand waving. Thank you, Pink Panther. Good to see you. The thing that got me was at the end of the story, after all of that, he tells Art, I moved out of that place, and the computer is in storage. And I go, then what's the point of your story, sir? Okay. I mean, what's the conclusion? Was it still continuing to type things out to you? He didn't end his story. You know what I'm saying? He just said,
Art Bell
I
actually
moved
ended
out.
Art Bell was like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm going to think? 100 years from now, someone's going to find that computer, turn it on, and it's going to start giving gibberish again. And I'm like, no, it's not. We're going to look at that and go, that is a really big paperweight. Let's get it to a recycling center.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't fall for that one, but anyways, do you got another one, Dave?
Nothing that's good.
No. Well, pick something that's bad. We'll make it good.
There was
how about the artist sculptor?
Oh,
the
God, that was
man.
horrible. That was just dumb.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to throw one out there. Well, go ahead.
The one that I loved toward the end was this woman's all, I have a friend and ex-husband, and they work.
Oh, the raspy voice woman.
Oh, yeah, you can tell. I wrote down, she's a smoker.
Yeah, my husband, he was a filmmaker. He made documentaries. Yeah. So they shipped him off to England. Hey, he's filming old houses. Oh my God, my throat.
Right, now you made her an old Jewish woman from New York. She's a smoker.
Watch it. Wait. Okay, go ahead.
Gosh.
I'm trying to find the character now. I'll forget
Carol
about
Ann
it.
Susie. Go.
Forget about it. Coffee talk.
Want a Big Mac, George?
Yeah, we Big Mac, George. Here we go. No, but she had a raspy voice. They send him off to England to film these houses.
Yeah, and they filmed in ultraviolet. They filmed it.
That got me too.
And they captured a ghost. What did the ghost look like? Well, that's not important.
I know.
I didn't see it. I'm like, why are you telling this story? But
Secondhand information from my husband.
yeah,
That's why I left him in the first place. He never.
exactly. I can hear Judge Judy now going, "That's hearsay. Yeah, it's not admissible in court."
That's hearsay. Oh
And
man,
then
no,
she gets a second story in. She goes, "Well, let me tell you about this too." Where she moves into a house, feels a presence,
yeah,
and she asks, like, "What are you doing here?" And then the neighbor down the street confirmed that there was a person who did indeed like kind of look like the person she was describing and had died in the house and stuff. And it was just kind of like it just went nowhere, you know. It's just kind of like
yeah. She just
uh,
wanted to talk to Aunt Belle.
I just want to, you know, like she's at the mobile home park, right? Nothing against mobile home parks, but she's like, watch this Halloween.
Yeah, oh, I'm glad I got through the. Yeah. Oh, cool stuff, Hot.
I told you, eat it.
Can't wait to watch that new Kolchak movie to see him come out. Anyways, oh,
Can I
there
tell you,
was,
let me quick side note. So I'm working retail. I'm in my late teens, early 20s, and this person calls in, you know, raspy voice, right? And just like, look, I go, let
you
me
take
tell you.
returns, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. So I go, you know, hold on, sir. I'm not a sir, I'm a ma'am. Sorry. My
That's
bad.
happened. That's happened a couple times. Listen, I did my time in picking up those phones, and you're like, what, yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry. No, I hear you. Really quick, there was. Well, I guess we can end this. How about the hippies who, they were in a row house, a haunted, uh, apartment, like 5 apartments, and they're throwing a big party downstairs, and they couldn't open up the one window. It was always stuck. It would take 15 men to lift that window up. 15 men. But we all drinking, and we decided to go in the basement to do a seance to to conjure up Lucifer himself, is what they said. And I love Art Bell's thing. A bunch of 1,500 SAT score college
Yeah,
students
yeah.
calling up Lucifer
They
with,
go around in a circle several times, right? You know, so it's just
yeah,
like
calling him
we're
names.
gonna cuss him out. And he goes,
Gonna
the third
cuss him
time
out.
finally landed on me.
And the window slammed down. So the point was, Lucifer slammed down the window and gave them a sign.
And they've never played with the Ouija board since.
No. So that's 2000, Ghost to Ghost 2000 with Art Bell.
Part
Uh,
one.
what's that?
Part one. We still have another
Part
2.5
one, yeah.
hours.
There's a part
Yeah.
two, yeah.
Sometime next year we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We are going to, I think in between there, we're going to cover Malachi
Oh, yeah.
Martin.
I mean, this is going to be March, April, May. There's so
Yeah.
much to do. There's so few Sundays we have together. So
Yeah, I mean, Raj said earlier, he's like, man, this is too short. Wish you had, another stream. Listen, I'm going to. Dave has got a job. He's a professor. He grades papers all day, morning, night. It's
10 days a week.
yeah, every day. So for him to do a Sunday with me, that's all he can do. But I'm going to be kickstarting this. Believe me, when I'm saying guests have been contacted, replies have been sent, dates have been sent. So I'm setting everything up in a row to where I can come on and just start chatting with you guys. My main thing is, does the camera need to be on for certain shows? Would you guys just deal with my voice? But I guess the camera's got to be on every time. I don't know.
You know, I've seen them both ways. When you used to do Paranormal Into the Night years ago,
Yeah.
it was just a blank screen, you know.
Yeah. It was
And,
just audio. Yeah. Like a regular podcast.
you
Yeah.
know,
But I would probably do it like this. And most of the time I'm going to hope to get people on, but there are going to be, I think, some shows where I'm just talking about topics and taking it from there. Again, we need somebody in the night that's you feel a little bit of the personal side of things. I share my life with you guys anyways. So
are you going to have that one woman from Aruba back? Talks about
Yes.
experience.
Heather
Stones,
Arnold.
paranormal. Yes.
Heather Arnold.
I'd like the camera on just to see her.
I was going to say, I know you want her back again, Dave.
She's a worker.
I think I've talked to her. Has it only been twice or has it been 3 times?
It may
Maybe
have been
just
3
twice.
times.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, I'll have to look back. Thank you, Phil Jones. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on the way out. Check out Dave's link to his channel down below if you like gardening and bow and stuff like that and chit chat from Dave. Yeah, go subscribe to him.
Low
And
energy, heavy on the chat.
there you go. Thank you, Edward Stewart. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, Connie. You guys all know who you are. Until the next stream, which next week is what again, Dave?
I forgot.
You forgot.
It's Charlie Chan, Jade
Charlie
Mask.
Chan, Jade Mask. Okay, there you go. Listen, I know you guys are thrilled over that one, but I can't wait to talk about Charlie Chan and the Jade Mask. Okay, thanks, Dave, and thank you all for being here. And I am going